Welcome to the best of March 23. Something useful. With my whittling paraphernalia, I fashioned a passable dahlia which I painted with gold. I added a board and adorned it with purple regalia. I screwed a strong dowel on the face of the board and drilled holes with a brace with a countersink bit to help the screws fit. I finally added some lace. A friend asked, "Is that for the king, that gaudy, impractical thing?" "No," I said, "it's to hold a spare toilet roll, and think what relief that might bring." Sleigh ride. There was an old man, growing older, bent of back, slight of hair, stooped of shoulder, with memories rife of a moderate life, some regrets where he wished he were bolder. He wasn't morose, in fact merry, perhaps for his penchant for sherry, which he took, to be fair, in excess of his share, though on doctor's advice he grew wary. His advice, when asked by a child: "To life's end you must be reconciled. Be joyful and play on life's tumbling bobsleigh, and, with due care to others, be wild." Ode to Lentils. Good health and vitality blooms with the intake of simple legumes. While not a full answer to colonic cancer, they lessen the number it dooms. In a soup or a stew every day, they're a must-have for any gourmet. You'd have to be mental to pooh-pooh the lentil and mad to decry the split pea. But despite their great nutritive powers, most lives that they save are not ours. With this protein supply, there is no reason why we need to kill chickens or cows. Reunion. The third brother asked, "Is survival the purpose of life? Such a trifle. Once we procreate, we have fulfilled our fate, with death our invincible rival." The second, whose health was in question, and who rarely thought purpose worth mention, said, "Live for the day, except, come what may, there will be no divine reprehension." The first brother, haughty and sure, replied that their logic was poor. "We rate our success by the things we possess. How else would you judge a man's stature?" There had been a sister, but she had died in a fire formerly. She had dragged out each brother, one after the other, but was now a poor memory. Bad news. Lastly plucked from my quiver, nocked and primed to deliver, the arrow let fly past the wildebeest by, and sank by the bank of the river. Could this be the end of our race, as our ancestors' steps we retrace? At the cost of lost meat, once again we won't eat, and a well-earned extinction we face. On the mammalian scene, early mammals. The egg-laying mammals, it seems, are properly called monotremes, but it's unlikely they give a fig what we say, so don't let it give you bad dreams. English, yeah, funny language, eh? Sorry if my mother tongue is a little confusing to some. My daughter brings laughter. I call her my dafter. Somehow she can't get that one. Softly, softly. Not mad on the title, really, but here it is. The blue-haloed tamarin came by its rather unusual name from the luminous sheen, almost aquamarine, of its highly voluminous mane. But when gathered and riled for a kill, they lose their angelic appeal. To see them dismember a small anaconda, you wouldn't think holy at all. Cheers. It's good to walk 5 miles a day and take 5 fruit and veg, so they say, and yet when you dine, just 2 glasses of wine. I've met 2 of my targets today. On that subject, calling time. How will humanity cease? Will we fall to some doomsday disease? Will sustained over-farming not raise an alarm in our fragmented economies? How will we greet our last days? Do we curse or politely rephrase our indignant dismay in the true English way, as the sun crisps our land with its rays? We build bombs so sublimely obscene that their use must be seen as a crime, but we choose men to rule, egotistic and cruel, and the clock ticks on our finite time. Here I am. Here are you, each alone, each one person in time, time soon gone. Why should we give a toss for humanity's loss? But we do, and we reach for the moon. Retirement. A poet grew tired of his trade. He put all the money he'd made from his verse in a box with a spare pair of socks and set off for a life on the road. The cash lasted less than a day, but he didn't fall to dismay. He now earns small riches by sweat, digging ditches. It's an easier life, some would say. At the circus. Horlicks, the world-famous clown, with his painted-on frown, could juggle 5 spoons while bending balloons, and all while his trousers fell down. A flash of her blade. Slightly longer, this one. She was only a fishmonger's daughter, and she never spoiled whiskey with water. As her father bade, she followed her trade, and quickly learned all that he taught her. A flash of her blade, and her fish would be stripped to a customer's wishes. A flash of her smile had been known to beguile, as she sought her escape into riches. From her mother she learned all the things that men want before talk of rings. She could toss a cod fillet in a pre-seasoned skillet and conjure a meal fit for kings. With such skill and her liking for rye, she soon caught the innkeeper's eye. In a year they were wed, but though she shared his bed, she could not still his wandering eye. A flash of her blade in the kitchen threw a stray dog, a rabbit or vixen, put pies on the table, but her thoughts would amble as she ladled stewed veg onto dishes. At first, an occasional night, an occasional one-sided fight, she suffered his blows, but in her heart arose a lust to declare her own right. Not just pain, but cruel words so demeaning, until life lost all purpose and meaning. With a flash of her blade, she took off his head, and the rest of the night was spent cleaning. "He's run off with some strumpet," she said to any who missed the landlord, "and the nest egg as well, so I'll see him in hell. Would anyone like some more bread?" She shackled her tongue since that day, being wary of what she might say. She maintains her trade with a flash of her blade, and never spoils water with rye. Something shorter now. Confession. The crested Iberian lark will only give voice after dark. I first heard its song as I ambled alongside a stream in a Portuguese park. The lady beside me, Sophia, took my hand and said, "When you first hear that bird, legend says, you will spend happy days in the arms of someone standing near." Our own son, grown strong, still won't part, too timid to ask his sweetheart. Should we take them, I asked, to that Portuguese park where that lark song emboldened my heart? "We could," Sophie said, "but I'd rather explain an embarrassing matter. I'll confess to my ploy, for I doubt that our boy is as gullible as his old father." Ah, dear. Who can you trust? An agnostic's prayer. Why get out of bed every morning? Why the struggle to give life a meaning? For me, it's the thought that however may short life may be, there will be no returning. Is there God? Is there heaven or hell? So many are eager to tell what I must believe before I leave this mystifying bagatelle. The one thing of which I am sure is that I can never be sure of what follows these awakening years until I am done with all care. That's it for March. Let's see what happens in April. Bye for now.